Cool. Okay, guys. So thanks for joining us on this interview. Today we're very lucky to be with Joseph Kaminski, a senior associate editor at CNET. So what's really cool and incredible, like, he'll explain it himself, but he's incredibly passionate about scooters, and he reviews a lot of our scooters even before they even get launched to get his feedback. So Joe, do you want to say hi and introduce yourself a little bit?
Hi, I'm Joseph Kaminski. I've been with CNET now 17 years, and I actually came across reviewing micromobility due to my longer commutes. I also come from a BMX background. I used to race BMX when I was younger, so I kind of had that wild side wild streak as a kid.
Cool.
I've yet to even take a subway to work since we've moved into our new office, and that's about a year, 2 years now. and I love riding scooters, e-bikes,
Right.
and
What was
also
your first ever scooter, if you don't mind me asking, Joseph?
one of the first scooters I got to review was like the Swagtron Swagger.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I guess they were willing to take a risk because they're like, who's this guy, reaching out to us asking to review scooters. And then I got really fortunate and I got to review an Unagi, and then it just started taking off from there. But
Nice.
the
And now
one
you're
wheel was the
reviewing.
very first
Yeah.
product. The one wheel was the very first product that I reviewed.
Nice. And now you're reviewing, 40-mile-per-hour scooters, and it's what's next, right?
Well, I have an interesting Apollo story. When I
Okay.
was originally testing the first Apollo Pro, I was coming home and this cop car pulled me over, and I was like, "Oh no!" And this is like 3-4 years ago. This is before COVID, and I was like, "Oh God!" And then they're like, "Dude, where'd you get that scooter? I thought they were pulling me over to give me a ticket," and they just wanted to know all about the scooter. He's like, "I had to do like 30 to catch you, 35 to catch you."
Oh shit.
It was a crazy story. That was one of the first
Nice.
Apollos. I was actually one of the first 40-mile-an-hour scooters I reviewed, and Mac was kind to send it over to me. We had a long discussion about the Apollo Pro in the early days.
And that's the thing with law enforcement. As long as you're respecting the rules of the road, like most of the time they're like, "Oh, that's so cool. Where can I get one?" And like we've had so many police officers buy them from us as well. I'm like, are they here to sort of give us a ticket or to like shut us down? And they're like, "Oh, my son really wants an Apollo scooter," and we're like, "Yes, we're converting them."
Yeah, it was great. I was like, oh, I was like, all right, it's Apollo. It's available on their website and so forth. It was great. And I even got a friend who
Excellent.
was like, what can I get? And when a friend of mine had come by asking for a scooter recommendation, I had a few scooters in the house. I'm not going to mention the others, but the Ghost stood out to him, and he wound up buying the
Nice.
Apollo Ghost.
Yeah, that's also a really good scooter. Just value for money, but yeah, Joe, I mean, we'll jump into a bit more focused on the Polo Pro. So, as you know, the Polo Pro has been in design and sort of testing for the last 2 years, and we were, I mean, incredibly grateful that you got a beta unit. And the funny thing is, when we were looking at the mileage, I mean, it's only been 2 months. We were looking at the mileage of all of our Polo Pro riders. You've clocked over 1,000 miles pretty much in 2 months, and we were like, "Wow, that's a lot." So yeah, how are you enjoying your Polo Pro so far?
I'm enjoying it, but I cannot take full credit for the entire miles. In all honesty, my girlfriend, she prefers bicycles, but if she has to ride a scooter, she prefers the Pro. She said it's the safest she's ever felt on a scooter. And I believe her because there was one time she was trailing me and she didn't know till she looked down that she was doing 40 miles an hour. And I think I even wrote that in my write-up on the Apollo Pro as well.
So your girlfriend finds the Polo Pro the safest compared to a bike?
No, scooter, because she does not like scooters. The safest scooter
Okay.
she's ever ridden, because I've gotten her on other scooters and they just freak her out. But it was the most comfortable
Excellent.
scooter. I've even had some of my higher end scooter riders test it out, and they were really impressed with it as well.
Nice. And just thinking in a bit on it, like what are the favorite features you're seeing on the Polo Pro for you, your girlfriend, or your friends? What stands
So,
out to them as a favorite? Yeah.
so I think for me, what I love about it is the smooth acceleration. The design is gorgeous. I love the quad lock with the mags. I can charge my phone and use maps and stuff on it. The integrated signal lights into the handlebars are extremely visible and cool. Um, Definitely, I'm not ever going to complain about larger tires. The 12-inch tires are definitely amazing, and the whole lighting effect's great because I frequent a few restaurants with outdoor seating, and I love just putting it in park mode. And people are like, oh, you left your scooter on. I'm like, no, it's not on. It's in park mode. And I actually have it set up with the self-destruct in 3, 2, 1. Just kidding, calling the police. And that trips people out all the time. And of course, I think something I'd like to see on more scooters is the center stand. Doesn't seem like a big thing, but it really is, especially on inclines and stuff like that. I love having a center stand on the scooter. It doesn't catch my sneakers or the back of my ankle, and it's just easy to put down and not mess up my sneakers as well.
Yeah, exactly. And I just chipped my ankle yesterday on a scooter stand again, and I'm like, wait, it doesn't happen on the Pro. Exactly. It's just so practical. But that's amazing, though, because I mean, you've reviewed over hundreds of scooters. And how would you compare, I guess, like the ride quality and then the feature sets of the Pro compared to the scooters you've already tried?
So I find with the Pro, it's got that perfect balance, because it's actually the perfect scooter for anyone who fears buyer's remorse of buying like a really last mile low end tier scooter, because it's an easy scooter for someone who's never ridden a scooter before. But then it won't leave you stranded once you get adjusted to riding a scooter, because it's got enough power. And obviously you can adjust the acceleration, and you have Ludo and all of that. So I find it to be like the perfect scooter for anyone, be it if you're already an experienced rider or a new rider. And at least here in New York, it's under 100 pounds. And according to the DOT, scooters need to be under 100 pounds and travel at 15 miles an hour to make them legal in the bike lane. But then the bike lanes aren't always available, and being able to hit 40 plus miles an hour makes you feel safer when you go out with cars, because they're doing at least 25 to 35, even though the speed limit is 25.
For sure. And that's the thing. I think a lot of the things is when we talk about the scooter to a lot of people, we say, okay, it's a 40-mile-an-hour scooter, and they panic. They're like, whoa, 40 miles an hour, that's way too fast. How often did you ride at 40 miles an hour? And how do you feel at that speed on the Pro?
The Pro is a dream. I honestly, I don't encourage people doing this, but the Pro is actually easy to ride with one hand and accelerate with one hand. It really is.
Joe, don't say that.
I don't encourage people to do that. It's a great scooter for any lifestyle. It was great for commute. I think also another really thing that I appreciate about it is it has the power. It's not that heavy, and the battery life is really good. The battery life, it's really good, because I speak to people constantly. They go, like you were saying, 40 miles an hour on a scooter. The faster it goes, you don't necessarily have to tap it out at that top speed. But if you had a scooter that maxed out at 20 miles an hour and you rode it at 20 miles per hour, you wouldn't get any distance out of it. And the fact that if you have a scooter that does 40 and you're doing 25, 30, you get a little bit better range, and you're not stressing it. And that's one of the beautiful things about a scooter with a higher mileage, because it also has a bigger battery to support those motors.
Exactly. And that's it's really a commuter scooter, and you want to make sure there's as much range as possible. And also, did you what was your experience with the regenerative brake? Did you use more mechanical or more regen?
Exclusively regen. I've loved the regen. If there's a need where I want to stop a little faster for whatever reason, I'll throw the front brake in with the regen. But I've exclusively used the regen. It's been great. I haven't got to test the other feature that you guys have, the Apollo Connect, where you can just kill it from anywhere. I think that'd be pretty cool.
That's coming soon on your phone, yeah.
But I did stick an AirTag in it.
Okay, nice. That's a funny thing. We see a lot of I mean, it's not the goal of the scooter, but we see a lot of people who, unfortunately, some people buy the Pro, and they're like, oh, I didn't receive it. And then we look at the GPS IoT, and it's in their garage, and it's on the billing address. And we're like, you even signed up to the app, and you said you didn't receive the scooter. And we're like, sorry, but we caught you on that one,
That's way to get them. I have in my phone, I have AirTags in all my favorite scooters, and obviously the Apollo Pro is one of them.
Nice.
I won't. If you want, we can go through the list off camera.
Love it. Cool. Okay, so we talked about the range. We talked about the stability, portability. Was there anything else with the Pro that stood out to you? I know you said the lights, but did you play a bit of sound with the music? Did you manage to connect and any other fun little features?
I did use a speaker. And also another cool thing that not many people know about it is be able to get the battery gauge on the front light as well, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I've used the speakers. honestly, I mostly use earbuds like you do right now because I'll make phone calls when I ride, but I keep it clear so I can hear what's going on outside.
For sure.
And I really enjoy it. I mean, the only thing I'd probably and I also noticed all you guys autographed underneath.
Yeah. Under the deck, yeah.
I mean, the only thing I'd probably wish maybe on the next generation is possibly an adjustable suspension, just so you can kind of like take. I know it's like the commuter, but just so you can do both, the best of both worlds. I think that would be really cool. Now my brother on the call.
Yeah. So it is coming. The adjustable suspension in the front, for sure, it is coming. So that's why the feedback is so important. And right now we have 150 beta testers using this every day, putting 70 miles on it, like yourself. And that gives us so much insight into it, right? So it's really, really important. And is there any other feedback that you would like to see improved on the scooter as well, on the final production, apart from the suspension?
I mean, nothing the end of the world or groundbreaking, but if maybe if like now that you have the integrated phone mount, possibly because I know people in the high end scooter market, they're starting to put reverse cameras on the back of their scooter.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So maybe something that may work with your iPhone mounted, and you can see like a camera, so you can get like a rear view of what's going on behind you, like a rear view preview. I mean, that's obviously next level.
For sure.
But clearly,
it's going to be like self-driving mode, and you can take your hands off.
But clearly, the scooter's there, so it's just whatever more bells and whistles you could add to entice people more. But I mean, that's a cool feature. Like a lot of people like that camera in the rear, and I definitely appreciate the longer fenders because I've gotten caught in the rain and I've made it home pretty good.
Nice. And even in terms of like people seeing you on the streets with the lights and all, like did a lot of people stop you? Were there a lot of turning heads? How was that experience?
That scooter is definitely a head turner. People love it. They're like, oh, well, what's that? Where'd you get that? The two questions you always get is how fast, how much? How fast, how much? Yeah,
that's great. And I guess the last question for me, Joe, is if you're a consumer in this segment, and it's $3,499, but would you buy the scooter? Or would you recommend this scooter for someone looking for all the bells and whistles?
I would definitely recommend this scooter. I'm a little bummed that they're only a limited edition of the chrome one because the chrome one is. I need to see one in person, but it looked good. I'm pretty sure it fingerprints, but it looks good. The chrome Apollo Pro.
And that's the thing. So it's a gorgeous scooter, but it's like you see every single spec, like every detail. So if you're a little bit OCD, you would hate it. It looks gorgeous, so like on show and display. But yeah, no, that's definitely, we're looking at the demand, and if there's demand, we'll definitely do it. But for now, we're just keeping it in one color for sure. Cool. Any other last comments, Joe, before we wrap this up? Anything else on the product you'd like to mention?
I think I might have heard that you guys are including in the toolbox extra handlebar tips for the signal lights.
Yes.
So
because
that would probably be because it falls over. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, great. Well, Joe, thank you so much again. Thank you for being an incredible supporter and tester of this and riding 1,000 miles. And thank your girlfriend as well for us. Really appreciate it. Again, if I have any feedback, please let us know. We're always looking to improve. And we've actually got some really cool scooters coming next year that we'd love for you to test as well if you're looking for some really cool features and everything else.
I'd love to. I got my hands full with a couple other products of yours right now.
Yeah. No, but that's amazing. Well, Joe, thank you so much again. Really appreciate your time for this interview and everything. And if ever we can be of any other service, please let us know.
No problem. And thank you, Chris, for having me.
Cool.